Okay, it's time to take a look at what's been grabbing headlines here in France. I'm joined on set by Florence Villeminot. Good morning to you, Florence. And you're starting out in France.
That's right. A word on French politics. First of all, 100 days from today, Les Républicains, the main opposition party, is going to hold its primary to decide which candidate will run for president next year. 100 days seems like it's pretty far away, right? But a lot of French papers are focusing on this. Let's take a look at the front page of L'Opinion. 100 days, 100 questions. Now, a lot can happen in 100 days, of course, but you can see on that front page the front runners for now. So the man in front there is the mayor of Bordeaux, Alain Juppé, and you can see peering behind his shoulder there, very familiar face, of course, the former president, Nicolas Sarkozy, though he hasn't said yet that he hasn't made it official that he is planning to run in this primary.
As you say there, he's not officially campaigning, but he's trying to set the tone by giving an interview to the conservative magazine Valeurs Actuelles.
That's right, and he made some controversial comments about national identity in that interview. You can read more about it in Le Monde today. Now, what you need to know is that in France, France recognizes both the right of blood, essentially if you're born to a French parent, then you automatically become French yourself, and something called, des droits du sol, the right of the land, I guess you could say, or it's more translated as birthright citizenship. Essentially, if you're born on French territory to foreign parents, you can become French at the age of 18, so long as you've lived in France for 5 years over the age of 11. So it's a little complicated, but if you're born in France, you can become French. And this is something that Nicolas Sarkozy in that interview said that he wants to come back on. He was a little bit ambiguous in this interview. He said he wants to keep this droit du sol, but he just wants it not to be as automatic as it currently is. And these comments have raised a lot of criticism. This is actually the political cartoon on the front page of Le Monde by Plantu. You can see he's saying that essentially Nicolas Sarkozy is using this to fish for votes in the right wing. The comeback, you can see Nicolas Sarkozy using Valeurs Actuelles, which, as you said, is a very conservative magazine, as his kind of magical superhero cape. And you can see this little cop down here in the bottom corner talking to a foreigner saying, go home. It's probably better where you've come from.
Okay, moving on to other French news. Papers here are reacting to those forest fires in the south of the country, which have devastated parts of the Mediterranean coast near Marseille.
That's right. Those blazes are getting a lot of attention. If we take a look at the front page of Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien, you can see they're talking about peur sur la ville, so fear over the city. Those blazes got dangerously close to Marseille. You can see some of the damage here on the outskirts of the city. Now, Le Parisien says that it was thanks to the swift intervention of firemen that the worst was avoided, and today, Aujourd'hui en France calls those firemen heroes and pays tribute to them.
Okay, let's move on. Papers also focusing on the migrant crisis and the situation in Calais. Authorities there are sounding the alarm, saying the situation is worse than it's ever been in that so-called jungle migrant camp.
That's right. That's what Le Figaro is reporting on today. If we take a look at their front page, they say that the number of migrants living in the jungle is currently estimated at 7,000, and it keeps rising. You can see here they're sounding the alarm. Calais is once again on the verge of explosion. It's a violent place where there's no rule of law, and there are concerns that there could be a potential terrorist risk. According to Le Figaro quotes a police officer who says that under the current state of emergency, this migrant camp, the jungle, is a blind spot for national security. Now, Le Figaro, keep in mind this is the right-wing paper, is outraged in its editorial by what it calls the scandalous situation. It really lashes out against the government's so-called ostrich policy. It's essentially burying its head in the sand. Who cares about the residents of Calais? This is what's interesting about this editorial. It's not so much concerned about what's happening in the camp as what's happening in the city itself and how residents are reacting to that. Le Figaro says, the president has never had the decency of visiting Calais, and it calls on the government to really wake up and put in place a realistic policy and put in place actually some drastic measures. Le Figaro wants the government to put in place some drastic measures to essentially stop migrants from coming into Europe, to stop them from coming into France, and send them home if they're caught.
Okay, on a lighter note, finally a word on the Olympics. France is hoping to win some medals today, and two of its best athletes are competing.
That's right, and the two of them are on the front page of Le Figaro. If we take a look at the photo on the front page, you can see on the left there judoka Teddy Riner and the swimmer Florent Manodou of the French Titans, according to Le Figaro. They're both dreaming of winning double medals and repeating history because in the last Olympics in 2012 in London, they both won gold medals, and they're hoping to repeat that. You can read more about the two athletes in Le Figaro. You can see these amazing photos giving you descriptions about, just how tall they are and how much they weigh and what their fortes are. They are France's trump cards. You can see Le Figaro talking about the match of the giants, and Le Parisien focuses in particular on Teddy Riner, who actually carried the French flag during the opening ceremony. Everything to get to gold. They describe, how hard he's been working. And today is his big day, and according to Aujourd'hui en France, Le Parisien, he's ready to become a legend. So good luck to both of them.
Yes, good luck to them both. Thank you very much, Florence, for that spin through the French press this hour. That's all.